everybody. Hello YouTubers. It's Dee. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Today I thought I'd do a quick little tutorial on how I make the fabric tabs that I put on my journal pages. So like, let's say if you had this as a journal page and then you wanted to add the tab like that. You can sew it on, glue it on. So I'm going to show you how I make those real quick. And so let's get started. So what I'm starting with is a 2.5 inch square. You can cut them with a rotary cutter, you can cut them with a template. If you don't have a template like this, you can just make one out of chipboard. However you want to get your squares. And then it's really simple, and this is something that's, you know, I just make them in bulk. Like I've got this whole bag full of them. It's like something that I do when I'm like, well, I was doing these while I was watching the Olympics, and you want something to do with your hands, but you just want to be able to sit and maybe watch some television, a movie, or whatever. So I'm going to be folding these over at about 1/4 inch, and I'm going to be using a glue stick. So what I do is I just estimate 1/4 inch, and you can use a roller to help you get the seam. So I just estimate 1/4 inch all the way around. That. Get the crease. Okay, once I got that, I've got this thinner glue stick that works really well, and you can just run a line where your creases are. The only thing about these, this is great, but they it eats them up pretty quickly, so you can really go through these little things at a high rate, and they're not exactly economical. So, you know, you can also just use a regular glue stick, which I find that I run out of these a lot. Okay, so then you just glue it down. Very simple. You can get one of these little rollers. If you don't have this kind, you can get the bigger wooden ones. I think this one came from Tandy. I use that for all kinds of stuff. Okay, so then I'm going to put this, and once you get going, you can get a real rhythm getting these done. And then what I do is, after I've got that all nice and rolled over, I'll take my scissors and I'll clip these little corners like that, so it's nice and clean. And there you have it. Your first one's done. And I'll just stick a paper clip on it and keep making them. So you can also, if you want them to be a little bit, because this is just quilting cotton, if you want them to be a little stiffer before you cut your fabric, you can use heavy starch, and it makes them really crisp and easy to work with. And yeah, so that's a good thing if you want to do that. So then let's say, okay, let's grab a journal page. Let's say I wanted to put one on this page here. I would just position it where I want it, and then glue it down with Fabri-Tac. Now, since this has been folded over, I try to keep the glue right on the folded edge, because if you get on the single layer, this will show through. So just be aware of that. So you can just glue it on, and then if you want to go with a clean look, you can just leave it like that, or you can see if I have any that are stitched. I don't think I do. Well, here's one that was done. No, that's not it. Here's one that was done in paper. The same same idea. So once you get it on there, you can zigzag it, straight stitch it, use a decorative stitch. You can do that as well if you want to. So that gives you options for that. And you can also do different shapes. They don't have to be squares or rectangles. And the other thing that's kind of a bonus is when you get this in the pages, once it's glued in, a pencil will fit perfectly in there. So if it's in the journal and you need a place to put your pencil, it slides right in perfectly. Yeah, so I'll just sit and make these in bulk and throw them in a bag, and then I'll have a huge, you know, selection of them to go in the journals. And it's just really a fast way to do it. Now, there is another way. Let's see if I can grab this. When I first started making these squares, I was making them for a patchwork situation. And then I started thinking, whoa, this would be great. So I had done these originally without glue. I had done, I used a template, folded over the edges, same thing, but then hand basted them with thread. And this is a technique that Spirit Cloth, she's on YouTube, Jude Hill, uses all the time to make her squares. So if you're feeling like you want to do some hand stitching and you're not really wanting to use the glue stick, you can just do her invisible base. That's what this is. And you can hand base them, and so then there's no glue involved. But I find that for the art, I mean for a quilt, yeah, this is great, but for the art journals, the glue stick is really fast, and so that's what my preferred method is for that, because I can just really quickly roll the edges over. Okay, I'm gonna hang on 1 second. I'm gonna go grab some other shapes that I did. Okay, I'm back. Chair. These are some paper piecing technique with the octagon shape, and you just have the paper and you can make the shape, and there's tons of videos on how to do these, but what I was doing was folding them over for a tab with this shape. And you can leave the paper in there, or you can take it out. See how I've punched a hole on the paper, so it makes it easy to take the paper out if you want to. I mean, that's for if you're doing quilting and you want the paper out. But you can easily leave the paper in for putting them in art journal. It's another thing that you can just sit and do when you're watching a show and you want to do a little bit of handwork. So you can do those types of shapes as well, and then possibilities are kind of endless as to what kind of shapes you can do. And there you have it. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.